In MoneyWatch, it doesn't appear there will be a $2,000 stimulus check coming for the holidays. House Republicans blocked a proposed Democratic bill Thursday that would raise direct payments to Americans from $600 to $2,000, something President Trump is pushing for. But now it is unclear if people will get anything. Mr. Trump has been vocal about his opposition to the current $900 billion relief bill passed by Congress. He says Americans deserve more money in their pockets. The president is spending the holidays at Mar-a-Lago. A person familiar with the situation confirms to CBS News that President Trump has received the current iteration of the bill in Florida, where he can still choose to sign the bill at any time. I want to bring in Stephen Gandel. He is the senior reporter for CBS News MoneyWatch. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us. Happy holidays. What does this delay mean for the finances of ordinary Americans who are in such desperate need for that stimulus money?
Well, exactly what you just said. For individuals who need this money, who have struggled, the 60% Americans who have seen their finances not do very well during the during the coronavirus pandemic, this check matters a lot. And what we have right now in the economy is this dichotomy where people who have money aren't spending it because they're, as the economy shuts down, there's less things to spend it on. So much of the economic juice, what's pushing this economy forward, is those expenses that we can't put aside. And for people who don't have money for that, that's going to take a whole toll on them, and it's going to take a toll on the economy.
This bill was criticized by a lot of people, saying that $600 was not enough. It doesn't even meet the median rent, but something is better than nothing. Also, equally impacted in some ways in the economy, corporations. What does it mean for the finances of corporations?
It means a lot for the finances of small businesses and medium small businesses.
Sure.
Those are the businesses that could benefit from this refunding the Paycheck Protection Program. And it benefits all the employees of those businesses. So the $285 billion that's going to go into that program, there's a lot of small businesses who, just like we talked about with the $600 checks for individuals, they've been counting on this money showing up, and they've been stringing their business along. And if we have a delay and it looks like, well, these checks aren't going to come until February, maybe, a number of small businesses may say, we're just not going to make it and shut down. And that's going to cause mass layoffs, and that matters for everyone, whether they're big companies or small companies.
So, you kind of got at this. You touched on it at least a little bit. But with all this uncertainty, will that impact markets or even joblessness?
So it will impact joblessness, just as we talked about, right? If there's less spending, if companies shut down, that means more layoffs. We saw a small drop in the number of initial jobless claims this week, but everyone expects that to go up, especially if there's no new bill and there's no new assistance money. What it means for the market is a little more complicated, right? We've seen this year where we've had a very rough economy, a very big tumble because of the coronavirus, but the stock market has stayed stable and gone up a bunch. And the market's based partly on the economy. It's based partly on interest rates, and interest rates have thankfully stayed quite low.
Now, this relief package that was passed by Congress was priced at $900 billion. If Republicans were to capitulate to President Trump's demand of $2,000 checks rather than the $600 checks, how much would that revised bill end up costing? We know that that's kind of been the tug of war here, right? Democrats initially had pushed for more money. Republicans said that there wasn't more money to give. So where would that leave us if we did get that $2,000 stimulus?
So if we took it from the $600, and this is per person, so a family of four could see $5,200, $2,000 for each individual and $600 for each child, it would take the bill up a substantial amount, $350 billion, right? So we're looking at over $1 trillion bill here, which was what reported was a breaking point for some Republicans. But here's the thing, right? We all kind of expected that this $600, then $900 billion bill, that was just going to be something to get us along for another few months, right? Even if they sign this bill, we're still only talking about the foreclosure moratorium going out another month. We're only talking about a few more months of expanded unemployment. So we're looking at, not until June or July until a good amount of America where we can go back to normal is vaccinated. So we all kind of thought we needed more. So the question of whether they spend the $350 billion, in my opinion, whether they spend it now or later, we're eventually probably going to have to spend that money to keep the economy going before, as I said, we can go back to normal.
Yeah, President-elect Biden had referred to that stimulus as a, quote, down payment. Now, changing gears here, a little talked about provision in the current bill allows workers to withdraw up to $100,000 from their 401ks. Is that a good idea for most Americans? That's something that we're generally advised to not touch.
Yes, for most Americans, for Americans who aren't facing financial hardship, this is a bad idea. But for someone who is facing hardship and would have to go further into the debt, it could be a good idea. The idea is you're kind of borrowing money from yourself, especially if you end up paying it back, which you can within 4 years penalty-free. The nice thing part of this bill for people who need it is there's usually a 10% penalty for people who pull money out of 401k plans, people who are under 59. This gets rid of that 10% penalty. It also usually you have to pay the money back in 3 years, and then you don't have to pay income taxes. This gives you a 4th year to pay it back within and not pay income taxes. You shouldn't do this if you don't have to do it. But for Americans who are looking at a lot of bad choices, it's not the worst choice.
And certainly a lot of Americans are in a really tough spot right now. Stephen Gandel, thank you as always for breaking this down for us, and happy holidays.
You too. Thanks for having me on.